Welcome on in, everybody. And we're just really getting started. And I want to say this as we get started, which is that, if you're a creator, if you got creative ideas, uh, if you're a coach or you're thinking about being a coach, a life coach or a health coach or a wellness coach, or you got some kind of a transformational, type of thing that you can bring to people, and you want to create a steady income that allows you to, to have the freedom to live and to work from anywhere. Well, that is the primary destination that I want to get us to here, and that's, like I said, what I've been doing since 2008. I started off working from my previous career as a landscape architect, and I initially started to offer training programs in that industry until about 2017. And I did hundreds of thousands of dollars of online training programs and other ways that I found to monetize my skills as a landscape architect. And I had, reached the top of that industry. I'd been a landscape architect for almost 20 years. And like any of us, I had reached a point where I had enough of it. I enjoyed it. I reached the top of the industry, and then one of the things that the internet provides for us now is the ability to share our knowledge. And so I made that transition and started teaching and training for that industry. And like I said, I did that until 2017, had a business partner, and then I just again, made another pivot. And part of the reason why I say that and share that with you is because it's natural to make pivots in life, is what I've discovered. So if you're going through a transition yourself now, or you're discovering some new thing that you want to explore, well, you're really in the perfect place here. And so let me go ahead and just to really dive on into things, because there really are three key things that I'm going to share with you today about how to use Substack, and more importantly, how to build a community, and how to turn that community into a paid subscriber base. And like I said, it's more important than the details of Substack. I'm going to give some of those details here today, but I'm also going to give you some other tools on how to learn those details. But the thing I really want to impress upon you here today is the ability to get freedom by taking your knowledge and turning it into an online, I say, a group program. This is really the major thing that has allowed me now to have the freedom to live and to work anywhere. And I think when Shelly B and I first met each other, Shelly lives in California on the Central Coast, and I found her community, her spiritual community, the Awakening Ways Center for Spiritual Living. And the reason why I found it and why I loved it, and now I'm connected to not only to Shelly but also the entire community, is because their minister, Rev Elizabeth, she had the willingness to try something different and to go online and to take that community online during COVID. Whereas my community here in Scottsdale, they just kind of resisted it, and they're a little resistant to try new things. The other thing that I have to give praise to Rev Elizabeth, and Shelley B can affirm to this. This is why her and I are so connected now, is because during COVID, well, there was a great need, and the need was to create ways to connect. And so not only did the service come online, but Rev Elizabeth created these meetup groups on Zoom, just like we're doing right now, and they were just so supportive. And so that's how I got connected to that community. And like I said, the central thing that I really want to impress on you here today, and I'm showing you my little photo albums here, my braggadocious photo albums about what it looks like, to do this successfully. And I know anybody can do it. And I'm gonna share these three keys about how to do it and how to use Substack to do it. But this is what my lifestyle looks like now. It's like I do live in Scottsdale for about 6 or 7 months out of the year. I just spent a month down in Playa del Carmen in Mexico, and then I was in Tulum. And people think I'm on vacation because that's kind of what it looks like, doesn't it? It looks like I'm off screwing off. But the truth is that you can work from anywhere and you can do very creative things. And so this is Mark Mangus. He's one of my clients, and I've helped Mark to launch an online group program for his lifestyle medicine approach, which is very unique to him. He's a shaman taught from the Peruvian Pacos through the Four Winds School. And so during this time, I was down in Mexico. I said, "Hey, Mark, why don't you come on down? We'll do a VIP retreat." And so he came down for 2 days. We traveled around. We hung out at this poolside, and we were working. We were working, and we
You
were
need to
having
stop.
we were having fun. And we spent a little time at the beach. This is what it looks like in Playa del Carmen, and it does look kind of spectacular. But the thing is the world has made it now possible
Listening.
for us
Fuck
to
up,
work from anywhere.
asshole.
Kristen, I think you got your thing is needs to be put on mute, and I could do that, but I think you could do it as
Oh,
well.
sorry, I'm in traffic.
Oh, it's okay. That's that. I don't know. That explains the cursing. We understand completely because we like to keep it real here. But put yourself on mute there if you can. This is some friends of mine have
Oh,
a business that is also based in Playa del Carmen, and they do ice bathing on the beach. And this is a an American friend of mine, but he's now moved and he has a residency in Mexico. And so they do it, I think 4 or 5 days a week. They do combination of breath work. So as you can see, this is what his partner is doing right now. She's leading people through breath work, and then we all jump on into the ice bath, and it looks it looks like could look like torture, but honestly, it activates the endorphins, and in particularly dopamine, which man, you just feel like $1 million after getting in that ice bath. But I mentioned them in particular. I show these pictures because they also use social media as the primary tool for what I call their experience product. And I mentioned this to Nessie a little bit because Nessie, you live in this incredibly beautiful place. I think Shelley B, you're like this as well. But the possibilities are infinite. And what people really pay for nowadays, more than stuff and things, is experiences. They use the experience platform on Airbnb. That's how I discovered them. And they sell, you can sign up. I think they charge, I don't know what it is, like $20 or something like that. But then, once you're connected to them, then they use other social media platforms to then upsell. And then I bought, a packet of like 5 or 10 sessions. And so I'm one of their ongoing clients. And so these are just last couple of images to share with you because this is Playa del Carmen. And I don't know if you're like me, but I was a kind of a little sheltered, I have to say, in America. As Americans, we think we're so great, and Trump is trying to, you know, um, you know, raise this thing about how great America is, and it is great. But there's so many other great places. In Mexico, I didn't realize that Mexico is such an amazing friggin' country. And how I discovered Mexico and the great food. This is a restaurant there, family-owned restaurant in Playa del Carmen. This guy here, he's cooking up some duck right now. So any of my vegan friends, look aside. He's cooking up and smoking some duck in this little pit here. And the food in Mexico is just phenomenal. But again, this is all what is possible by doing what it is that I'm giving some insight into today. And I'm just going to give just a short introduction to this today. We'll have some other opportunities. but I'm going to try to keep this to about 30, maybe 40 minutes today. So the first thing, there's three things, three primary things to launch your ability to have this kind of freedom, or to relaunch it or refocus it wherever you are in your process. The first thing is to match what you love to do. And to sometimes it's a process of discovering what you love to do and matching that to a need in the marketplace. And I can tell you, it's a little bit of a process, and it's the most important process. And Substack is a great tool to do this, because Substack, um, by nature, what Substack is, it's a writing platform. I just started on Substack not too long ago. And one of the reasons why I wanted to pop up with this so quickly is to give you the encouragement that I'm no expert on Substack. And what I'm doing is I'm exploring it, and I'm using it to explore my own ideas and the things that I have to share with people. When you get clarity in this process, and like I said, writing is one of the best ways to get clarity. I do a morning writing practice every morning, do a little meditation, a little bit of writing, and get clarity on, what it is that I'm good at doing, and what do people need help with. This woman here, I think Abby is her name. I just subscribed to her channel, and you can on Substack you can set up subscriptions that are free subscriptions, but you can also set up paid subscriptions. And the value of both of these things is that when you get somebody to or when somebody chooses to subscribe to your Substack channel, let's say you start to write about something really cool, or Nessie, you start to share, pictures. I mean, where you live is so phenomenal. I always have questions. It's like, what is that thing? How old is that thing?
Yeah, I get that now. I can see it now. I can absolutely see it, Gio. I couldn't before. It was just like I couldn't see. But now
Oh,
I see it all. Yeah,
oh, good.
brilliant.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. That's exactly what I wanted, was that aha moment. Well, thank you.
Wait. Thank you.
But Abby, she's a herbalist. And as I've made my own journey towards, more and more, natural health and longevity tools, stacks, different things that I use in my own health and wellness, man, my health has gotten better and better. Like, I'm way healthier now than I was when I was 50, like way healthier. And the plant-based medicines have been a big part of that. Movement has been a big part. But Abby, she's an expert at herbalism, like truly an expert. She's doing her PhD right now. And so this is kind of just a great example of, finding your calling. And she obviously, she's found it. And so immediately when I found her Substack channel, I became a paid subscriber because I wanted to have access to her. And so this is the amazing thing with a subscription-based program, and why Substack is one really good option, is that yes, you can, create content, but Substack now it will capture people's emails. So when you publish a new post, not only does it, get published within the social platform, but I'll get updates from Abby in my email. And so I'm very connected to her. And like I said, she has on her paid subscription, you not only get access to her personally, but also to her other, super high valuable. It's basically like having an herbalist, like a expert herbalist, at your fingertips. Like, you might go and spend, $100 or $150 to go have that kind of a consult with somebody. But she's able to, consult with hundreds of people, as they need it, at an incredibly, to me, a little bit, almost, not price high enough, is I'm trying to say. I think I don't know what I spend here. It's a very small amount. It's like $10 a month. But, when you have a lot of people subscribing, then it adds up. And this is the second thing that is part of let's say finding your calling, which is the ability to, to describe like what you're up to and what you're about. And so this is the about page. Like this is basically like a website. This is kind of how Substack works. It creates a free website for you with automatic email notification functions, and it's multimedia. But one of the most important things to any website is the About You section. And the About You section is, like I said, it shares like, what your journey is and what you're up to, what you got to share. So that's really the first step is getting clarity on that. The second step is to do what I call create a distillery and to distill down the the value of of all of your ideas. Like there's a lot of things you can do. And what makes it valuable is just like what makes, good medicine or good alcohol. It's like you distill it down to a super tasty, like little thing that's super potent. You refine the multitude of ideas into one thing that serves a need. And here is the secret is it doesn't have to be like some mind-blowing idea, because here is how I discovered Substack or rediscovered it myself. One of the other functions of Substack is it speaks very well to the other social media platforms. So, in particular, to LinkedIn. So, on LinkedIn, I saw this, not this post, but she did a post about her article that she wrote about rethinking your elevator pitch. And I'm pretty good at these things. Like I'm pretty good at like, hey, what do you do? Which is very important when you're networking. And I just happened to be that day heading out to a very high level networking event with my top docs network here in Scottsdale, and these are doctors that are more on the wellness side, the holistic side of things, but they're medical doctors, and they can intimidate me sometimes. So I'm like, I better sharpen up my thing. And so she had this article about rethinking your elevator pitch, and so you can see what I did down here. She said, hey, drop on into the comments. I said, hey, I'm a holistic health expert. And I mean, I help holistic experts get off the hamster wheel. Well, she immediately, she was on there and she helped me to refine it like within 5 minutes. And again, it was something that I would pay a coach, you know, at least $100 to have that kind of help. And that's an example of providing, high value help. But in social media and in Substack in particular, what you want to do is, refine your ideas and create value. Think about what they need help with in the area. And this was a perfect example of it. And now I'm totally connected to this person, and I just think it's amazing. This is her channel. She's clearly a writer. And so again, I come back to this, like even though Substack is amazing that it's multimedia, like I'm better on video probably than most things, but I'm a writer as well. So she writes about the way things are done, and she's also fairly new to the platform, so she doesn't have a huge following. But this is the thing that I was trying to say in my funny Facebook post. I don't know if you folks saw it or not. I didn't know if I was going to get roasted on it or not. Some of the ways that we capture attention in our articles is to use humor, to use mystery, kind of like a mystery novel. And so I think I said something about, what she said about how big the thing was. And then, and then when she looked at it, she's like, you're not really using that thing properly because this is the thing about social media. We think that we need to have hundreds of thousands of followers, or, whatever, thousands of followers. But what I help people to do is to create more so high ticket one-on-one engagements. Like if you have something a transformation that you've been through yourself, and you can help somebody else to do that, to go through that change, well, that's enormously valuable. I know some people on here, I've heard maybe, thinking about doing things in addiction recovery. And I have one of my past clients who worked at a addiction recovery center here in Arizona. Um, and they charge like $20,000 plus to go to that center for 30 days. And so, um, people value getting help with what they need, what they have challenges with. And my friend, my client who I helped, she had enough of working in that addiction recovery center that it's kind of grueling. And it's like a lot of celebrity clients and whatever. But when people get out of a recovery center, they really need ongoing support. They need ongoing accountability. And that accountability doesn't have to be like rocket science. It can be just like what Rev Elizabeth did, which is she set up, 2 Zoom sessions a week for us to come in. And I don't know if she realized how valuable that those Zoom sessions were. I mean, they provided mental health, for a lot of people. And she didn't charge anything for it. It's a nonprofit church, whatever. But I just say these things because that accountability, the ability to gather people together into a community online, is enormously valuable. And most times, what I often help people to do is to launch what I call a minimally viable product and just test it into the marketplace and see what people react to. And it doesn't hurt, it doesn't hurt anything to try this. And in my dad's voice, my dad passed away when I was like 22, but the greatest thing he ever said to me was, it never hurts to ask. And so an offer is essentially a way to ask. It's a call to action, which is a call to, would you like to do this thing? Would you like to try out my coaching program, my life coaching program? And yes, there's nuances to it, but this is essentially the third thing that will unlock the freedom opportunity. And it's the thing, honestly, that most people struggle with. And so could be one of the most valuable things I help people with, is because there is a nuance to creating an offer and to positioning it in such a way that you do make it clear what the value is. Because if you're anything like me or other people I know, it's like if you have a server heart and you love to help people, well, that's a wonderful thing to do. And what I have found is that when people don't pay for, they don't have some skin in the game, they don't pay for, access to you in some fashion, they don't value it. But the offer is one of those ways to define what that value is, and kind of how it relates to to what people need help with. So I want to go ahead and open things up for any questions right now. And then I do have a special gift for you folks that have showed up, but I want to open things up here for questions. And as you're thinking about that, I'm going to go grab myself a glass of water because I'm overcoming a bit of a cold thing here. So think about any questions you have, and open up your mics and you can drop right on in. All right, I'm back. I've got to actually got to raise and praise to Kristen, because you're the one that told me about one of the plant-based medicines, quercetin, I believe, that I've started to use, and it helps a tremendous amount.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad that's working out.
Yeah. And I bet you're a plethora of knowledge in these ways. And I want to, Kristen, tell people what you do.
Okay, so my name is Kristen Giesland. I call myself the Mindful Seer, and I specialize in helping people who have had a spiritual emergency or they have intuitive gifts opening up. And sometimes that can be disorienting or stressful for people. And this coaching system that I've created, the B-ism system, is useful for anyone. So it's sort of a finer gradient of the concept of body, mind, spirit. So I do one-on-one consultations, but I'm really shifting more now into training other healers and seers in this B-ism system. And so
Can
that,
I ask you, Kristen?
sure.
What's the core reason that you're doing a shift?
Because I have a lot of knowledge and wisdom to impart, and I feel like it's just time. It's just
Okay.
time for me to be, um, putting this. Yes, I can reach more people, and it's time for me to be training the trainers. Train
Okay.
the other helper healers. I've been doing one-on-one interaction with people for 40 plus years. So
Wow. Okay.
yeah. Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I always say this is one of the things that I've learned myself, which is, everybody should do what they feel called to do. And then I also attach onto that or connect to that one of my own personal things that I've seen myself, but also in working with clients. And this may or may not relate to you, but sometimes, we're doing something and it doesn't financially reward us at the level that we want to. And what I have discovered is that it's typically not because people don't value it or because there's not a need in the marketplace. It oftentimes has more to do with the offer itself and who it's offered to. Because one of the gifts that I have is I meet a lot of people. Like I forget what they call it the woo. Where a woo is somebody is I just enjoy meeting people and I don't forget people. And so one of the people who I know personally went through a crisis just like you're talking about, and it got triggered off at a kind of an awakening, workshop. In that that workshop really did awaken things, but as you probably know, sometimes that's a very uncomfortable experience. And so what it triggered off was a serious mental health crisis. And I have a little side project that I do called it's a storytelling project, and I'll share it in the community because you can listen to the person's story themselves because it's stories of transformation. Well, I mention this because this person is exactly what you're describing, and had this awakening, but she also had a mental health crisis that came along with it, and she was very fortunate to find a expert like yourself in a recovery center in Laguna Beach, and she was able to overcome that challenge. And the investment to do that was $20,000,
Hmm.
and that's not that's what the cost is sometimes. Like if somebody is having a mental health crisis, like what you're talking about, and this person is not a wealthy person. And she did what many people, have to do when they have a challenge that, is really painful, they need help with, is that she had to reach out and, different people helped her financially. And, thank God she was able to get that help. But I share that with you, and everybody listening here today or listening to the recording as well, is that what you do is enormously valuable and in the right context. And so also I say that to for my own benefit, but also other people's benefit. Like, don't give yourself away. I mean, yes, use the platform, right? Use the social media. This is where we give things away. Like I have another friend who's a tarot card reader, and she makes well over $100,000 a year as a tarot card reader. And when I heard that, I was like, how the heck do you do that? And she revealed to me, well, and I became attached and connected to her social media accounts. She gives away so much value, like hundreds, millions of dollars of free value, and she
Mhm.
really works hard at it. Like she does, posts every day.
Right.
So, anyways, I just want to drop that on in.
I love it when you throw out high numbers related to the value of what I do and that you affirm the value of what I do. And I always feel great when you do that, Gio. So I appreciate that you're in my life doing that. And, I have, it's sometimes these things get very, it's a very personal relationship I end up having with people. So, it's not always easy to know how to monetize that.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And the two pieces to it. One, yes, is the offer itself, because the offer is what reveals the value of it. Like, okay, I understand. People need some logic to it. The other thing that is super connected to that is the context, like where that person is. So, you know, um, creating content and or doing networking in places in the locations where those people are, and sometimes it does take some investigating to find out where those people are.
Hmm. Yes, indeed.
Anybody else want to jump in before we wrap up here? I'll leave a few minutes to consider if you want to. Nessie, you got something?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you, Gio, for that vision that I couldn't see. I really couldn't see that until you put that up.
Yeah.
Um, you know, it was like the penny dropped, and where have you been? I could have done with you a few years
Nessie, you
ago.
gotta share with other folks too, like where you're called in from today, where you live.
Yeah, in Cornwall, in the UK. So yeah,
Yeah.
I've just been through a massive awakening so I've just come out of that, and yeah, I'm just kind of restarting myself then. Yeah.
Well, I one of the things about your experience, and you shared with me a bit yesterday,
Mm,
and what it triggered off for me for me is a couple of things, but one thing being how a transformation, like a true transformation, can happen on many different levels, including financially. And it does happen, like where it's like one day a person has nothing, and then the next day it's like, wow, how did that happen?
mm,
And that is how things happen, quite honestly.
yeah.
Everybody goes through in term on the financial side of things, in terms of like we think, oh, somebody, they're driving a Ferrari or they're living in, some beautiful place. Well, everybody starts from nothing. Most people,
Mm,
not everybody, but the transformation on a financial level is very real as well.
mm,
So I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up here before I lose my voice altogether. And let's see if I have a couple other things in my little slide deck here. I have to think about what else I had. Um, I think that's pretty much most of what I had. What I do want to say though is I am opening this new channel up, this new platform, and I'm glad I think most people found their way here to the school platform. And I'm starting to do some collaborations now with some other people. And Kristen, you're going to be most excited because I created a collaboration with another intuitive who made a transition from being a lawyer. She had been a very high profile lawyer in Manhattan, and I would say she's pretty much not doing exactly what you do, but very, very skilled intuitive. And her and I are going to do a live stream here together on this channel, on the school channel. So stay dialed in here and invite other people to it as well. This will be a growing community. And for showing up today, my gift to you is I decided to pop up with something a little bit different, which I call a calling clarity consult, which is really around this thing of what is the calling? Like, what is the calling? And this is something that I'm super talented at helping people to refine, and some people can call it, defining your niche, but I take it to a much deeper level because what I've started to realize, after pivoting myself a few different times in my life is that there's something that each of us has within us. And I don't say that it's one thing, but what I do say is that um, that calling is definitely connected to natural gifts that we come into the world with. They often emerge at a young age. Sometimes they emerge out of a crisis that we go through. But the ability to refine that thing into one thing is what the Clarity Consult is all about. And I'm going to offer these I'll share my schedule link somewhere here. I'll make sure that you have it. It's going to only be for the next, I think until the end of this week. I blocked out some time on my calendar and they're full sessions. So this is like a $250 value. And if it calls to you, then you go ahead and schedule on it. Like I said, they're going to only be open till the end of this week. I do have a super busy schedule in general, but I want to both get feedback on the school platform and how things are emerging here, and if I can help you to get clarity on what your big thing is, what your calling is, then feel free to take advantage of that. So, with that, thank you so much for joining me here today, and glad that you found your way to the school platform. I know it's a little tricky. It's like going down a little a mouse trap to find your way here, but hopefully it all worked out well, and I'm glad to be able to be here with you today.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
We'll see you
Bye
later.
bye.
Bye.
Peace out.